You are listening to the Critical Mass Radio Show, Orange County's business talk show, focused on exploring topics of interest to CEOs who are leading middle market companies. With your host, Richard Franzi.
Hello, and yes, you are listening to Orange County's longest running business talk show, and I am your host, Rick Franzi, and we have an exciting show planned for you today. Why, do you ask me? Because Kristen Brunzell is our guest. She is the agency owner, founder, and CEO of Mavericks Insurance Agency. Kristen, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rick. Good to be here.
So I always enjoy having founders on the show because it allows me to understand your origin story, as it were. And so help us to understand the inspiration and motivation for you to launch Mavericks Insurance Agency.
Yeah, definitely. So I have been in the insurance world for a little over 20 years, always representing and working for other carriers and companies and, letting people have their thumb on me, if you will. And as much as I love insurance and helping people, through the housing crash, through the pandemic, all that stuff, I've had times where I thought, man, I think I can do this if I was my own boss. I think that there's a way to do it. And so that was really one of the biggest motivations, was just to be able to make a huge impact within the community so I can partner with those who are like-minded. And then really to have the total ability and control to have work-life balance, but also to have control over my work-life period. That was a huge motivator.
So, Kristen, how long did you have that feeling before you actually did something about it?
So the first time I got the itch was probably a little over 10 years ago. And then probably about 7 years ago. So I've had it a few times. And then around early spring of this year, I just thought, my goodness, I've been doing this for over 20 years. It's go time. There's no time like the present. And so here we are.
So you launched your business earlier this year.
That's correct.
So in the time that you've been up now as the founder and CEO, what have you learned? What can you share with us about being an early stage founder of a company?
Oh my gosh, so much I've learned in the last couple of months. And I know that I have so much more to learn as I continue to grow and develop the agency. But really the biggest thing I think that most business owners and businesses will experience is just having the tenacity and grit and resiliency to overcome any challenges and setbacks, throughout opening the business. But one of the things that I think is so important is not only having that mentor, which I have a great mentor, but also having a board of directors. A board of directors that I can go to for advice, whether they're other business owners or leaders within their industry or someone of high regard. So the other side of it is surrounding myself with a strong team, my team, the team that's with me at Mavericks Insurance Agency, who's highly driven, highly talented, which is key to fostering, our positive work environment. I've also found that networking and marketing and branding, like any company, is so important while my business is off the ground. But I think, Rick, the most important thing is creating boundaries, giving myself permission to say no.
Yes, there's no one telling you what to do, so you have to make those decisions, and that is daunting. Especially what you're doing is the hardest thing, in my opinion, to do in business, which is to get a new idea in the marketplace and scaling and growing successfully. So kudos to you for having the moxie to take this step. I'm very proud of you. And I'm excited for your journey as an entrepreneur. Let's talk about Mavericks Insurance Agency. Help us to understand your niche. Who do you work with? What are the problems that your agency is solving for them? And then if you could think about and tell us a little bit about who you see as the ideal type of client and customer for your agency.
Yeah, so this is a multi-level question and answer. Really, we can really help everyone is the bottom line. But right now, we're truly focusing on small and mid-sized businesses that want to increase their bottom line profit structure, that might be struggling right now to attract and retain those top talent. Driving around just in Orange County and LA and all over Southern California, you see the now hiring signs everywhere. And now they're posting, what the dollar amount is. It's not even minimum wage. Now it's $20, $22, $25 an hour to flip burgers. And they're struggling to find people. And this is a way for them to come to us for those solutions of how do they attract and retain those top talent. And then another thing that we're able to do is that we can, through benefits communication, we can help reduce the rising healthcare costs. And that's just kind of the scratching just the top of what we do. I mean, we do so much more than that. But I think the biggest thing is finding those small and mid-sized businesses that are looking for solutions and might not know that there are solutions out there for themselves. The other thing that we like to do is we're also looking to collaborate and work with other like-minded business owners, whether they're within the industry or outside. I've already partnered with a few other people that are not within the industry, but also to work with small and mid-sized business owners or businesses. And it's them not only refer business, but to partner and make that business even stronger and give them the ability to do things and make themselves competitive in their own industry.
So help me to understand, Kristen, because I would like to learn from you here today on the show. When you start a new insurance agency, how do you get carriers to allow you to represent them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So just with my years of experience and the folks that I have on my team, we all come from different walks of life within the insurance agency or insurance industry. So we have current relationships and partnerships with other carriers that allow us to represent them and allow us to sell their products. And so that's something that with those good relationships, we're able to then place business with them. And there's some carriers that we represent or we like better than others. And some that, others might do things that others might not do. And so we really look out for what's the best for the client.
And so I heard you at the beginning of the answer to this latest question say that you feel like you could really help almost anyone, but you're focused on small and mid-sized business owners. Why did you choose that area to focus on?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think a lot of people don't realize that, just in Southern California alone, Orange County specifically, pretty close to about 90% of our businesses fall into that small and mid-sized category, the under 100, what we call lives, under 100 employees, if you will. So that right there is a huge audience to capture, and for us to try to compete against the larger brokers that are going for those 2, 3, 5,000, man companies, is that something that we can do? Absolutely. We're actually working on a few of those, but that's not our wheelhouse. Our wheelhouse is the little guys, because those are the ones that often get ignored or, brushed under the rug, if you will.
So you mentioned that your company, Mavericks Insurance Agency, isn't just you, but there are people on your team. How, as an early stage founder of the company, are you able to convince these people to throw their lot in with you and Mavericks?
Rick, how not? One of the things that I've learned through this over the last 20 years is people follow people, not companies. And so with the relationships that I've built through my 20 plus years with the different carriers and such, majority of the people that are with me are people that I brought from past lives. And maybe they weren't working with me currently, or they were, but they found out what I was doing, or I reached back out to them, and it was a very easy yes. And so it's been very fun to have those folks come back on. I've had people that have wanted to come be a part of it, and they don't fit the model of what I'm looking for. And so, it's nice to be in control.
Yes, and I applaud you for being mindful of hiring for culture fit. because it's a really important aspect of any successful company, and the CEO is the steward of the culture, and being discerning about people that fit your culture will serve you well as you continue to scale, I believe. Kristen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the things we talk a lot about is culture has become such a buzzword, especially since the pandemic, and everyone's looking for a better culture, or they have a terrible culture, or they need a different type of culture. But when you dive deep into it with these people, they can't define it. They don't know the culture that they're looking for. And that's something that's very surprising. And so the fact that we have a defining culture of what we are, who we represent, who we want to work with, both within our agency, but also to represent as clients, is something that's so important. And, definitely we make it well known to anyone that we speak with.
So I have to ask you, as the founder, early stage, any sleepless nights yet? Any additional worries that come with being the CEO and founder?
I mean, no more than usual. I think that, there's always tomorrow. One of the things that I've learned is, you can't overwhelm yourself with things you can't control. For instance, if someone asks you if you want to do something or take a meeting, if down the road, and it's not something that you would necessarily do tomorrow, don't say yes. Don't make it into something that you couldn't do now. And that's been something that's been huge as far as making priorities while I create this business, because I've had so many different people from different avenues reach out to me wanting to figure out how they can collaborate, how they can do business with us. And it's prioritizing what's important, who's important, and how are we all going to get the most out of it.
That sounds like it goes back to an earlier thing that you said, which is being able to say no to things.
Yeah, absolutely.
This feels like an example of that. I love to ask guests about a piece of business advice. I don't know if you just gave it to us or if there's something else that you can share with our audience. If there is,
yeah,
what would that
be? Yeah, that, a lot of that is it. I think the other thing that, is a little unique is there's so much great advice I've gotten over the years. And I know I'm going to continue to get great advice from those around me. But a quote that I heard early on within my career that I really apply and repeat often is that nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. That the choices we make are our own responsibility. And that's from Eleanor Roosevelt. And I think that the thing that we do in business sometimes is we let things affect us. We let someone else's issues or problems that they might have personally or professionally affect us. And that's something that I've learned very quickly, that we can't let that intrude on who we are, where we're trying to go in business, and all of that stuff. And so we make the choice to not let that infiltrate, where we're going in the direction that we're going.
I so enjoy asking that question, Kristen, because I never really know what the guest is going to say, but I always find it's valuable for me to hear that piece of business advice. And that's a good, Eleanor was a smart individual, and that was sage advice that you're carrying on from her. So hopefully our guests and listening audience will find that equally as valuable. Let's shift your focus a little bit with the time that we have left. And I like to ask my guests about artificial intelligence. Generally speaking, how do you see it impacting your firm? Are you leveraging it? Do you have plans to leverage it? What about the industry that you're in? General sense for your understanding or comfort level, as it were, with artificial intelligence.
Yeah, so it's not impacting our firm hugely. It is definitely starting to leak into our industry in the sense that it's, they're able to automate repetitive tasks, which is something that I think is so important within any industry. Be able to streamline those basic operations and have better efficiency. But I think the one thing that we've been able to do and utilize in a safe manner and a healthy manner is to utilize Chat GPT. It's allowed us to sound a little smarter and a little bit more professional and take emotions out of things, which has been really good for us. But yeah, I mean, I know that as AI continues to grow and become, such a huge footprint in the future. Absolutely. We're going to leverage it as much as we can in any way that we're able to within our industry.
We are really in the early days of adoption of AI. AI's been around for a long time, but kind of with Chat GPT hitting the zeitgeist last year, we started to really see practical uses for the technology. I'm glad to hear that you're using Chat GPT, because I too use it, and I find it to be a very willing, creative partner. If I
Absolutely.
talk to it correctly in the prompts, it only wants to help give me something that I can, that's better than what I would have come up with probably on my own, isn't it?
Yeah, agree to agree.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, so you didn't start this business because you didn't have big plans. So let's talk about those big plans. What do you see as the future for your firm? What's the vision that you have for Mavericks Insurance Agency?
Yeah, so I told my mentor the biggest vision is for us to ultimately take over the world, but we know that's not going to happen. So, the biggest vision is to be really well known within the community as a customer-centric agency that exceeds expectations and ensures high satisfaction and loyalty. And I think that's something that we built throughout the years that we'll continue to build. Because again, as I mentioned before, people follow people, not companies. And it's amazing how many people, clients, both past and present, are asking, where are you going? What are you doing? Who, what company do you represent now? Things of that. But ultimately, my biggest thing is we want to continue to develop the future leaders and champions and create a positive and proactive work environment for those around us.
So we will have you back on in the future, and we'll be able to take a look at the progress that you're making. Are you excited by the challenge ahead for you?
Oh, I'm so pumped. I love it. Yeah.
It's been 20 years of you believing you could do this, and now here you are, yes?
That's correct.
And so when you made the decision after deliberating for as long as you did, and you started to talk to people outside of your mentor and maybe your advisors, just other people in your life, what was the reaction to your decision to start your own company?
They were kind of like, yeah, absolutely. Why not? Like, it wasn't so much of what are you waiting for, but yeah, go for it. There's not one person that and hot or even gave me any doubt within it. And I think that was the exciting part about it, was just having the support and backing of close friends, family, even just, people that I've worked with past and present. So yeah, it's been super exciting.
There's like a million little things that you have to do to actually have a business, isn't there?
Yes.
And in my experience, it takes longer than you think to get some of those things done, and many times it unfortunately will cost you more than you expected it to cost you. And so how are you navigating those early days of, maybe the mentor is helping you, maybe your board of advisors is helping you, and I commend you for seeking outside counsel. I think that is a best practice, frankly, for early stage, for any entrepreneur, but especially in the early stage. So how are you
Yeah.
navigating those? Maybe, oh, really? It's gonna, most entrepreneurs want to get things done yesterday.
Yeah. No, I realized, since it did take me 20 years to to make the jump, I have patience with this, that I want to do it right and not quickly. So again, with the board of directors and mentors and those around me, I do have a strong support system that there's a little bit of someone out there in every piece that has done something like this that can give me some form of advice or order of importance, if you will. I'm also have learned to be very good at delegating, which has helped as well. And so looking to hire more people of that nature to be able to hand things off to. But I just surrounding myself with people that I can trust, people that I can continue to collaborate with and build this agency with, is so important.
So are you proud of yourself?
I'm very proud of myself.
If someone would like to connect with you on LinkedIn, Kristen, or learn more about Mavericks, how do they do that?
Yep. So they can find me at LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/Kristen-Brunzell, or they can check us out at my website at Mavericks-INS.com.
Well, I was excited to have you on the show. I'm so looking forward to your success and your continued evolution of your business. And I just want to thank you for using our podcast and our business talk show as a place to set the intention for the future of your business. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it.
And thank you to the listening audience. You're a part of Orange County's longest running business talk show. Kristen's episode will join our catalog of over 1,500 shows that we've done over the past 15 years, focused exclusively on Orange County entrepreneurs and leaders of nonprofit organizations. So if you are one of those and you're here in Orange County and you would like to share your story with our audience, it's easy. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm Rick, R-I-C, Franzi, F-R-A-N-Z-I. If we're not connected, send me a connection request. Maybe put in there that you would like to talk about being a future guest on the show. If we're already a first level connection, just send me a LinkedIn message and we can begin the process, or send it to my email. Between Haley, our producer, and me, we can help you to get ready to be a guest on the show and then feature you and your business or your nonprofit organization in the future. And so until the next time we all have a chance to be together, I hope that all of your business decisions will move your organization in a positive direction.